Howdy, folks. This video is from a show I recently did on Cameron Bertuzzi's channel, Capturing Christianity. If you like it, do all the YouTube things to let YouTube know to show the video to others. Be sure to like, comment, and share the video. And I am trying to grow my channel, so be sure and subscribe and hit the bell notification. Don't forget to check out Capturing Christianity and support the work that Cameron is doing there. Hope you enjoy this.
I have been reading a different book, Unidentified Flying Hyperobject, by the Catholic philosopher Dr. Jim Madden. And on page 7 of Unidentified Flying Hyperobject, Dr. Madden says the following. As someone trained in the philosophy of religion, I was struck in particular by the fact that the evidence for the reality of the UFO, whatever it is at least as good as the evidence supporting the founding miracles of the major religious traditions. Whatever you think about those particular claims, I don't believe that they completely lack evidential support, as in the traditional miracle claims have enough going for them evidentially that they cannot be ruled out. If that is the case, then it seems that we can't rule out the UFO either. And given the continued frequency and quality of UFO reports, there are very good grounds to rule them in. I know that the church does not obligate her members to believe in aliens, but I want to know if Catholics ought to believe in aliens, not because the church says so, but because of epistemic considerations. Jimmy, do you agree that the evidence for the UFO is at least as good as the evidence for the resurrection, as Dr. Madden says in Unidentified Flying Hyperobject? And if so, does that give Catholics, and non-Catholic Christians too for that matter, an epistemic obligation to believe in UFO phenomena as well? Thank you so much for taking my question.
Okay. So I would say that I would need to read his book to see what kind of argument he makes. And I haven't read his book. I would say that I could see how evidence for UFOs is of comparable epistemic quality to events reported of a foundational nature in some religions, like, for example, Zoroastrianism. Okay, there was probably a Zoroaster at some point, but we can't even figure out what century he lived in. So I think that the foundation of Zoroastrianism is pretty weak, and that would be consistent with evidence regarding UFOs also being pretty weak. I view the evidence for the resurrection as being pretty high, and so I would need to see what UFO cases he proposes for being that high. But I would say in general terms that Christians need to believe whatever the evidence supports. So I think the evidence supports the resurrection. Christians need to believe in that. And if there is comparable evidence for the existence of aliens piloting UFOs here to Earth, then I would say Christians need to believe in that, just like they need to believe anything that the evidence supports.
Okay, cool. And I'll add to that, this book doesn't actually get into the evidence for the UFO. This is very much so a philosophy book. So what it does is it kind of uses the UFO and Plato's cave to kind of talk about the limits of
knowledge.
The limits of knowledge, and kind of how we should all probably be a little bit more humble, not just about what we know, but about what we can know. So it's an interesting read. It's not strictly about the evidence for the UFO. It's more about, the epistemology of the UFO, which is really cool. But yeah, so it sounds like you conditionally agree with Dr. Madden in as much as, like, if the evidence is indeed as good as Dr. Madden says that it is, then yeah, Catholics and non-Catholic Christians may indeed be obligated.
Yeah, I think people are obligated to believe whatever the evidence supports under ordinary circumstances. And if you've got good evidence, whether it's about UFOs or the resurrection of Jesus, or does gravity work, or, does your wife love you, whatever you've got good evidence for, you need to believe that.
That's really cool. And I've asked other Catholics this question before, and they've kind of laughed at me, and I didn't think that you would laugh at me, and I'm actually quite pleased that you're more or less on my side for this one. So thanks, Jimmy, for taking my question.
Yeah, no problem. I make a point of taking every question I'm asked seriously. I never want to make someone feel uncomfortable or laugh at them or dismiss them when they ask a question. And before we go, just a reminder to do all those great YouTube things. You can help my channel grow by liking, commenting, and sharing the video. And be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you always get notified when I have a new video. These days, I have multiple videos coming out every week. Thanks so much, and God bless you.